I proceed to watch the whole episode of American Horror Story, just waiting for her to return. Never comes back.
Welcome back to another episode of Mildly Alarmed. 2 years ago, this June, Justin and I matched on not one but two different dating apps. So this week on the show, we thought we'd take a break from the usual political drama and talk about all things online dating. When we first downloaded the apps, how we built our profiles, the people we met along the way, and the mental health toll nobody warned us about. Plus, we talk about the new threats singles are facing these days, AI-generated profiles, deepfake video calls, and the quietly devastating experience of getting banned from an app with zero explanation. After all, there's a reason we call the show Mildly Alarmed. Also coming up on our other two shows this week, on Turn 4, we're breaking down everything that went down at Talladega and giving you our fans' eye view of what the NASCAR commentators had to say this week. And on the Multiverse of Merriment, we're swapping TV show nostalgia, doing comfort rewatches of Disney classics, weighing in on the new Clayface trailer, and some comments on The Witcher Season 4. And of course, you can find all of this on the Mildly Alarmed channel on YouTube, YouTube Music, and Spotify each week on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 6 a.m. This week, we thought we'd talk about online dating just to take a break from the Trump and the Pope and all that stuff that we've been talking about for some time now. So when did you start online dating? Like, what was your first foray into online dating? What apps were you using?
So my first foray into online dating would have been in and around kind of the latter half of my college run. There was an app called Plenty of Fish. Do you remember Plenty of Fish?
I do, yeah.
I think I got on that one. I got on Plenty of Fish. And that was kind of my first foray into dating, because I, believe it or not, I was not good at dating. I was not capable of, wooing the opposite sex. I was not Don Quixote or James Bond or anything like that. Just didn't have it, was really bad at it, and had been single for an extremely long amount of time. So I started hearing about these dating apps and things like that. I remember seeing the eHarmony commercials on television. Didn't use eHarmony, but I found this one, Plenty of Fish, and I started using that one. And that's kind of what got me into the whole online dating scene and everything like that. Yeah, because I didn't really go out anywhere. I didn't really do anything. I was, it was kind of the only option. That's how I remember it.
Yeah. So ironically, until you, every person that I was in a long-term relationship with, I met in person, which is kind of shocking to think about when you look back on it. But I did, in between relationships, I did use the apps. And yeah, Plenty of Fish was definitely the one that came out. I feel like it came out just out the gate first, especially for like younger people. Because I feel like Match and eHarmony, those were both kind of tailored to like 30 plus.
Yeah.
And eHarmony in particular was like 50 plus, which is definitely how they are now. But I tried all of them at various points. Kind of for fun. It was kind of like social testing, testing dating theories online. Very different types of people I met on each one of the apps. I don't know if you found that when you were checking them out.
Yeah, there was definitely different types of people throughout the app. So Plenty of Fish, I remember meeting some of the weirdest people I have ever met in my life. And we around here called it Plenty of White Trash.com. It's kind of what we called it around here. I don't know if what you guys' version of that was up there in Connecticut, but down here around this area, that was kind of what we had. But I never had any really success with it. I did meet one girl on that who was super crazy. Not crazy, weird. Just in, I could tell a story. Can I tell a story? I could tell a story.
By all means, tell a
So I
story.
remember the first time that on Plenty of Fish, I started talking to this girl and she seemed really nice. And then, the whole conversation comes of like wanting to meet up. Um, and so she's like, "Hey, do you want to meet up, this weekend?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. I'm not doing anything. Like, that would be great. Let's meet up this weekend." Our conversations have been going well. We had like similar interests, hockey and this kind of thing. And so I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Let's meet up this weekend." And she's like, "Great. So I'm moving. Could you come help me move?" And I was like,
So
I,
she was fishing for movers on Plenty of Fish.
yeah. And I was like, "Sure." I don't know why I agreed to it, but I was like, "Sure, I'll come help you move your stuff." Person who I've never met. I'll come move your stuff. So I decide that I'm going to go out there. So she lived actually pretty far away in Selma. So I was like, "Oh God, okay, it's a bit of a drive." So I drove out there the day that I was supposed to help this girl move, and I arrive at the house, and sure enough, there's the moving van. And everything looks like it's legit, like as we discussed. And I get out of the car and I go inside the house and I see this guy. This is her dad, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm a friend of this person, and you know I'm gonna help move you guys." And he was like, "Great, yes." She said you might be around, and I was like, "Great. Well, where is the person I'm here to meet?" And he was like, "Oh, she's at work. Won't be home until tonight, but we can get started in this other room." And so for hours, I moved all of these people's shit into the
Wow.
moving van, drove it to the new house, which was about a mile or two down the road in a new neighborhood, drove it to the new house and unloaded that shit. Sun goes down. I'm covered in sweat. I've been moving stuff all day long. And then I see her. She comes in the house. I'm like, "Hey, how's it going? I'm Justin." And she's like, "Oh, it's great to meet you. Thanks for helping out all day long." And then like just walks away. And it was the most bizarre moving experience, one, but interesting first date.
Did you ever hear from her again?
I did. I went on a second date, and that one was equally as strange. So I go over to the new house now. I now know where the new house is because I've moved all the shit in there. I go over to the new house. An American Horror Story had just come out, and it was a big kind of like the first two episodes just kind of released. And I go over there, and she's like, "Have you ever seen American Horror Story?" And I was like, "No, I haven't yet had the chance to watch that show, but I know it just came out and I was kind of wanting to see it." And she was like, "Oh, well, the first two episodes are out. Would you want to go downstairs and watch the first two episodes?" And I was like, "That sounds pretty good because I've heard good things about this show and I'd like to see it." And we go downstairs and she puts on the first episode and it starts. And as it's starting, she gets up and leaves the room. And I'm thinking like, maybe she's going to go get a drink, snacks, anything. I proceed to watch the whole episode of American Horror Story, just waiting for her to return. Never comes back. I sat down there in their den all by myself watching this first episode of American Horror Story. The episode ends. I get up. I go back upstairs. She's sitting at the table folding clothes. And she's like, "What'd you think?" And I was like, "Well, it was good. It was good. I liked it." She says, "You want to watch the second one?" She puts it on for me. Same thing. I watch the second episode. She disappears and goes upstairs. I watch the second episode. And then I go back up there and she's sitting there in the dark playing on her phone or something or computer. And then she's like, "How would you think?" And I was like, "It's also good. What a show. What a show." And then she's like, "Great, let's go out and get some food now that you've seen the first two episodes." And so we went out and got food, which, by the way, she was a big fan of this restaurant called Characters, and I couldn't stand it. I could not stand it. I didn't think it was a very good restaurant at all. And one day, years later, I saw that they had an episode of Bar Rescue where they did this place, and I almost wanted to be like, I wish I had her number, so I'd be like, "I told you so. This place was trash." It was on Bar Rescue.
That is Okay, that's surprising for a couple of reasons. One, you gave her a second chance after she just asked you to move. And two, you didn't just get up 30 minutes into the first episode and be like, I'm gonna go.
I'm not well, Nina. I'm not well. I have a hard time I get anxiety about saying no.
You know, I actually did go on a few dates one time with a guy who helped me move, but he worked for a company that helped me move.
Oh. Did you meet him? Did he come over and was helping you move and he picked up like a couch and stuff and was like, you were like, we should go out?
Yeah, but to be fair, he was really attractive and an actor. He was just doing it in like his spare time.
Well, yeah. Well, he was an actor,
But he was
so.
also crazy because he didn't like when I didn't make complete eye contact with him when we were having a conversation. So, like, if I tried to look down at my food while I was eating, he would stop talking.
So he only spoke to you when you looked at him in the eyes?
Yeah.
That's bizarre.
Super creepy.
I guess he was just used to being on stage. He's like, hey, you have lines to deliver.
I need full and undivided
Yeah.
attention.
When you deliver them to me, you will be looking at me. We are scene partners. Everything I say is amazing. You have to be looking at me I don't want you to miss a word of what I say.
Yeah.
Actors.
Well, I can't say I ever had those types of early experiences on online dating, but I did meet some interesting characters. I met a guy in college who went to the same college as me, but he was like 4 or 5 years older, and he grew up in a Buddhist like monastery
Okay.
in like China or Nepal or something. His parents were like world travelers. They kind of just dropped him off there and didn't come back. Um, and then, but he was paying for college by being a professional pool player, of all things.
Neat. Okay, cool.
He was incredibly intelligent, but just not a great human being.
Really? Even raised in a Buddhist monastery or whatever? He's not a great human being?
Yeah, no, not
Didn't
a
learn
monk at
anything
all.
while he was there in that
Had a lot of
monastery?
anger issues. Then just like randomly would not message me for like a month. I remember one time, very last time I saw him, I don't remember what happened, but like a month later, I got like a Facebook message from him that was like, I'm so sorry. Can you please forgive me and give me a second chance? And I was just like, and it was like paragraphs long.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, no. That was the
No.
end of that one.
Yeah, no.
I also met later on I want to say eHarmony. I met a physicist who liked to swing dance in his spare time. We went to a comedy show together. That was weird. He was very awkward, but he was very tall. So that was nice.
That's nice.
He was a very nice person. I actually he was kind of interesting to hang out with, but so awkward. It just made it hard.
Mm.
And those are probably the two that I remember from like college days.
Mm-hmm.
So I dated some people like around college and like shortly after college that I met online. But I would also meet people like at work because I worked for some like big multinational companies when I started, just like in their support team. So I just like there were companies of like 20,000 people, so I would just like meet somebody randomly at lunch or something that didn't work in the same department,
Yeah.
and like go on a few dates with them. But to be fair, I can't say that the people I met online were any weirder than some of the people that I met in person.
People are weird.
Yeah. So
I've met a ton of them.
I kept giving it a chance, but then I didn't for a really long time until maybe more recently when you and I met.
Yeah, it was a long time. To be clear, I never met or dated anyone successfully got into a relationship with anyone from online dating until you.
Yeah.
The first relationship I was in for a long time was one that kind of came about in the traditional organic sense of where I met someone out in the wild and
Yeah.
and it blossomed from there. Which is its
What
own
what
uniquely interesting story. But I went on dates with people, but there was nothing that ever blossomed into a meaningful long-term relationship from online dating until you.
Sure. So what brought you back to the apps, like more recently?
Okay. So
Why give them another shot when they went so
when they
horribly
went so
wrong
horribly,
the first time?
it was because I could not figure out or understand how I was ever going to meet anyone again.
Mm,
So there was a little bit of fear involved because I got out of a relationship, which I, was very devastated about. But, it was one of those things looking back, it was probably a really good idea to do. But when it first happened, there was also that fear of like, it took so long for me to meet someone to have that long-term relationship that I was almost had this idea that I will never be able to repeat that again. Like I could never meet someone again. It's impossible. You go through those things in your head. You psych yourself out. You're like, I'll never ever meet anyone again. I'm gonna be alone the rest of my life. I'm gonna die alone. And so because my life at the time was very boring. I'm a pretty dull person. I
no,
I
no,
go
that's true.
to I spend 9 to 10 hours a day at work. I get
So do all of
there
us.
6 to 6:30. I leave at 4. That's my whole day. And then I maybe at the time I would maybe go to the gym, but you can't meet anyone at a gym, I don't think, because everyone's there to work out and they got headphones on and it's awkward. Um, and then I would go over to the grocery store and then I would go home. And that was life. And so I was like, who do I meet in that area? So it seemed like the only possible way to meet another human being would be to do it the online way because I feel like we're so tied. Like I find it crazy how people meet people in the wild because I don't go out to bars. I
Mm,
go out to restaurants. I love going to restaurants. It's a hobby of mine. I love having a place to eat. But you're just sitting at a table by yourself ordering food. You can't just shout over to the person across from you to be like, "What's up? What you eating?" Like, you know what I mean? Like it seemed weird. It seemed almost impossible that I would ever meet someone organically again because when I met this person that I had the real long-term relationship with, I was going to parties and functions and things, but I didn't do that anymore. Nor did I
yeah.
really want to. So I thought that the only possible way, because I was so isolated into my own bubble and just the way life is, I felt like I had no choice.
Yeah. I would say that I probably felt the same way. I had recently moved to Raleigh from South Carolina. Uh, and then I work from home
Mm-hmm.
for a company that is in Utah,
Yeah.
so that doesn't help me. Um, Plus I would not ever date anyone I work with.
Don't get your
Um,
honey where you get your money.
and yeah, I didn't really know the area, so I didn't even if I was a type of person who went to a bar or things, like I wouldn't know which ones to go to or what like the type of person was that typically went there.
Right.
But I don't really drink, so that's not really a good place for me either. Um, so yeah, there wasn't really any other options if I wanted to meet people in this area besides
No
online.
idea.
But so so we make the choice to go back online.
Yeah.
Uh, what apps did you use and how much thought did you put into your profiles for those apps?
Well, I learned a long time ago, the apps that actually got me dates that were, good dates or, were successful was Match.com. I figured that like if you pay for it, you're gonna be a little more serious about it. Because Plenty of
Sure.
Fish at the time was free.
Yeah.
I also feel like Tinder was free. Am I
Yeah.
accurate in saying that? And
I
so
think
I
I
think
think there's still a free option on most of them,
most of them.
but
And I feel like if you do the free option, you're not as like serious about it, maybe. So in my mind,
yeah.
I'm not saying this is fact. I'm just saying this is like in the way I was thinking was that I was like, I gotta get, if I want to find something honest, meaningful, have success, I gotta pay for it. Right. So I was looking for, Match.com and I had some fair success with that. But I also found that things like Bumble and Hinge were pretty good.
Yeah.
Um, some of the the friend group was saying that they had been hearing good things from Bumble and Hinge, because I knew another girl who was kind of like me. We were both trying to get online and date, and she was telling me that she was having success with Hinge, and that was the first time that I'd ever heard of Hinge. And then eventually I dropped Match.com, and I specifically went with Bumble and Hinge.
Yeah. I think I did the same. The like I said at the top, I think the age ranges got a little bit different for different apps the longer you went on. Like eHarmony for sure, definitely like an over 50 crowd
Hmm.
now. Um Match. Some people around our age are on
That's kind of what
Match,
I was
but
finding too, was that the pool was smaller on Match. So
yeah,
Bumble and
people weren't using
Hinge,
it that much.
yeah,
Yeah, Bumble and Hinge were definitely the ones to use. I also tried out Tinder twice. Once in South Carolina, and it was
it's a shit show, isn't it?
yeah, it's a shit show. It was a shit show here too. I mean, I did go on a date with somebody I met on Tinder, and he was nice enough, but here, and I can't remember. I think the people that I met in South Carolina were on Hinge. Um, and they were both like nice, nerdy people,
Hmm.
but Uh, yeah, I think Hinge for me, 'cause I didn't spend that much time on Bumble really, until I got up here actually. But I think those two were probably the ones I had the most success with. But how much thought did you put in your profile? Like how did you set it up? Did you like were you staring at it for days trying to figure out what to write and what photos to put up, or were you just like,
Yes.
whatever, and did put stuff
No, I
up?
mean, I tried to put some thought into it, but the thing is I'm really bad about um talking about myself. Um, so I had no idea what to put on there. I was like, I don't know what's interesting about me. I don't know. So I struggled with it. Um, I was one of those work in progress things. Like I remember throwing something up there because I'm also one of those that I'm like so anxious to get going that sometimes I rush into something and then I'm like, wait, that sounds rough. I need to go back and rewrite that. Same thing I do with my writing. Like I rush into a story and then I'm like, I need to go back and rewrite that. I did the kind of the same thing with the profile. I would just put one out there to make sure that I got out there. I chose some pictures. That was another thing that I was like, finding pictures of myself. I barely take pictures as it is.
Mm,
Um, And yeah, it was very hard. I found it to be extremely tough making a profile like it, and I probably thought too much about it, to be honest. But I did eventually like just throw something up there, and then I would go along and edit as I went. I maybe show it to other people and be like, "What's wrong with this? Like, is there anything that stands out that's wrong with this?" And then get that advice and kind of tailor it. So it was more of a working progress. I felt like we were workshopping it over the
mm.
course of time, but I don't ever think I think I was really bad at it. I honestly don't think I ever really came up with one that was pretty good. There was one app that I thought helped you build a profile a little better, and it was OK Cupid, because it basically just asked you questions. You answered the questions as honestly as you could, and then your profile was basically those answers to those questions, and it would match you with people who also had answered similar questions in
Interesting.
the same fashion, but your profile was essentially just your answers to your questions. You can go in there and answer questions as much as you wanted. They would always have new questions. Um,
Yeah.
and some were risque questions, some were personal questions. So you could, you know, answering those kind of helped you find folks, but
I did like that about Hinge that they gave you like prompts.
prompts are needed.
Yeah, that you could like
Yeah.
you could look through, and then the one that like struck you as being the most interesting and the one that you had the most to say about, you could put that in there.
Yeah.
Because like I thought about it for a while. I probably came up with like various versions of that like intro
I
paragraph and
believe
what
that
I was
about
going to
you.
say.
How knowing you,
Um,
I believe that. I imagine you put a lot of research and development into that, just the way you approach everything.
yeah, I'm extremely analytical,
Yes.
but
Whereas like I'm like, I gotta do it.
I
But
also though this time around, I was like, because creating a dating app in your profile in your 20s is basically just like, here's a cute picture. Uh, Dating in your 30s, I was just like,
You think
I
about
don't
it
want any
differently.
trash.
Yeah, you think about it differently.
I don't want to waste my time.
Right.
Like, I'm just gonna lay it all out there. I'm gonna be like crazy authentic. I'm
Mhm.
not gonna filter anything. I'm gonna be like, I only like if you're not a Democrat, fuck off. Like,
Mhm.
I'm just I'm just gonna put a bunch of stuff in my profile that's like, if this appeals to you, great, we'll probably get along. If this does not, see ya. I don't want to even talk to you.
Yeah, I feel like the first time I ever made a dating profile, I was really guarded in showing my nerdy side or things like that. But I feel like the second time around, and I think I was still pretty guarded. Um, but I think I was a little more open about being open to I'm into, writing or, movies
Yeah.
and these kinds of things.
Trying to think what you had on your profile. I know you had like a love of movies, that you were an author because you had your like author photos up there.
Yeah.
Um, and then it was
I think I mentioned something about liking racing, maybe. I think I mentioned something
maybe,
about that.
I don't know, I don't remember that. But it was also like in vogue at the time to like Marvel, so that helped because like if you were a
Hmm.
super nerd, you could put you like Marvel, and it was like so does everybody else on the planet, so it
Yeah.
didn't like stand out as much.
Side mission. When I was a kid, I was teased for being into superheroes and comic books, and I learned, it kind of frustrated me that later in life, it just all of a sudden became cool to be like, I like Marvel superheroes, but you knew it was full of shit because you knew that they were only liking it because of the movie things, and I was like, I've been here this whole time, and I don't want to come off as a poser.
Yeah.
But anyway, I digress.
That's when you had to get specific, though.
Yeah,
You had to be like,
but I
these are
didn't
the
even
top
tell
3
you.
Marvel movies of all time.
But we were reminiscing earlier. Like, I didn't even tell you about my obsession with comics because I didn't want anyone to know. I still looked at
Yeah.
that as like, I don't want you to know that I got a closet full of comic books. You don't need to know that.
Yeah, you told me like 9 months in or something,
Yeah,
and then we started to
I
like
kind of had
go
no,
on comic book hunts together.
I kind of had no choice at that point because we were moving, and you open up this closet, and here's all these comic books.
So I was clearly looking for something specific when I was on these apps, and I would flick through profiles for a long time because you're not a woman, so you don't know. But
No.
the majority of profiles fall into one of 3 main categories.
Okay.
Either you are a person of some depth and you have put some significant thought into your profile and you like, wrote a nice little profile description, you answered the questions, you uploaded more than one photo, you were serious about it. So that's really the profile that I was looking for.
Okay.
But a lot of what I got fed was like 2 lines about this dude, a shirt off pic to show off your abs, or like, a hunting pic, fishing pic, uh, just a bunch of bullshit that I was gonna keep on just scrolling right past.
Hunting and fishing
Um,
pics.
yeah, that's a really big thing.
I guess so,
I can't tell you
because regionally you
why.
would have been looking in North Carolina, right? And there's a bunch of
North
hunters.
and South Carolina, it was the same in both.
Hunters and fishers.
Although, because I was in Charleston, South Carolina, more of it was like, "Look at my yacht," but still.
Look at my yacht.
Um,
That's impressive.
so, uh, yeah, not a lot of, like, substance, so the people that I actually did message, uh, had something interesting on their profile, and I
So,
was very much, like, trying to try out different types of people because I was like, I had a type in my 20s
mhm.
that did not work out for me.
So you were like, I'm gonna
So,
change course.
yeah, I was like, I'm gonna, like, give everybody a chance.
Yeah,
Whether or not we seem to have anything in common,
just see what happens.
we're just gonna strike up a conversation and see how it goes, as long as they seem like an interesting human being, which meant they had a filled out profile. But
So that
what were
means,
you
to
looking
some
for?
degree, I must have written something
Yeah, you filled
interesting.
yours out.
Because
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I did fill mine out. I did want to fill it out, but I don't remember what I wrote. So I wanted someone that like, we had more shared interest in things that we could do together, um, versus separate, and I could feel like I could be more myself.
So was that what you were scanning profiles for? Were there other things that you were looking for, or things that you definitely didn't want that you kept seeing?
Yeah, so when I was scanning for the profiles, I was looking at, basically trying to find other nerds like me, not to call you a nerd. But I was there was a, type I was looking for. Like you, I also was trying to go past any girl. This wouldn't have made sense then, but now there's a term more of the Mar-a-Lago face. I was trying to stay away from like that. I was looking at
Like the trad wife look?
yeah, I was trying to stay away from that sort of thing, or like the whole country girl thing, because also there would be girls out there who would promote themselves as the country girls, and they're in front of a truck kneeling beside a deer that they've just shot with some rifle in their hand.
Interesting. I didn't
Yeah,
realize it was on both
it was on both
sides.
sides. So that would be like a don't think that's for me, um, kind of type thing. I was also trying to stay away from conservatives. I also remember, this might sound, I don't know how this is going to sound, but I also remember trying to stay away from anyone that had like Christian put down as like a religious view. Like I was like, didn't want to kind of go that route. Um, so yeah, I was looking at political status. I was making sure that they weren't killing animals, and I was making sure that they weren't typically praising Jesus. Like, if there would be one thing if they were like, yeah, I mean, I believe and I'm a Christian, but if I saw it all over the profile or things like that, I was kind of trying to avoid that a little bit. Um,
Gave you front row PTSD.
yeah, like I was just like, I don't know, like, cause this is still, this is during the Biden administration, right? So
Yeah, slightly post pandemic.
slightly post pandemic. So, the whole Trump Trump derangement syndrome is still on my mind. And, had just come out of that, and there was still some, political discourse around there that I didn't want to get involved in. So I was looking for that, but I was also like checking out to see like, did they say what kind of music taste they had, what kind of movie taste they had. I remember something specific with you. I think the reason why I wanted to talk to you is because I remember you put something on there about how much you really liked foreign music. And I was like, I also really like foreign music. I didn't know that you meant Korean pop. I was thinking more of like Latino. I love Latino
Actually,
style
at the
music.
time, I think I probably meant music from South America
So
because
there
I
we
was
go.
listening to a lot of
So
Spanish music at that point.
yeah, but
Yeah.
the great thing about that is that I now know BTS songs. That's fun. So
Yeah, I think I was listening to Sima Funk at that point. So
okay,
it was probably very much
and I
Spanish
was a
albums.
big fan of the Green Car Motel, which is a good Latin kind of rock band. So yeah, so I think I was looking for stuff like that, like show like more invested in what are your interests, and do
Yeah.
those interests align with mine, and we'll start from there. If we can talk about the same style of music, what else can we talk about that's together? So I went more of that because I was wanting to find someone that had my same interests. And I think that's because I looked at my sister and her husband's relationship, and I always liked that they are both unequivocally, unapologetically nerdy about the same shit.
Yeah.
And I just loved that and wanted to find that. And I didn't really have that in my previous relationship.
I do remember there is a fourth type of person that does exist on both sides.
Okay.
The travel fan.
Oh yeah. Okay, so I don't know if you know this, but if you're a guy on the other side of the profile thing, I know you said you had the guys with the shirt off. You would probably, you would come across a girl in a bikini every now and again, but actually, typically, kudos to you girls. I always found it a little more modest from a picture standpoint. Except for there would always be a picture in some kind of club with lights and a drink in their hand, showing that like
Interesting.
I'm the fun girl. I like going out and getting shit faced.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, in the profile, most of the girls that I found, the three things that they would be interested in, and they'd be like, I love my dog. I don't want cat people, which I have two cats. They were like, I love to go out and get drinks. And then the thing that was common among all of them, I like to travel. That was the thing that was always common. I like to travel. Every
Yeah.
profile was, I like to travel.
Yeah. Or hike. Everybody
Hike.
likes to hike. Now,
Yes.
I actually do like to hike.
Me
So it
too.
probably actually was on my profile, but I was like, and also here's a picture of my husky from a hike that we went on. Like,
Hmm.
I approved it. But
And I like to hike too. Like, I love hiking. You know me, I like being outside. So
it's
yeah.
funny, though, because it's hard. If you have like a legitimate interest in something that everybody is using, you almost don't want to use it because you're like,
Mm.
this is going to seem really inauthentic.
That's why
But
they became kind of funny to me when I would open up. It became a joke to me because I saw it so much that every time I'd open up a profile, I'd be like, wait, let's find the travel. And there it is. There is the travel. Okay, good. I didn't know we had so many well-traveled people living in America. It clearly shows.
yeah,
But yeah, no.
90% of those people had like never left the country in their
That's
life.
what it was also funny to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird. Anyway, all right. So we're both on the apps. We're scrolling and or somewhat dating people. We're having conversations and or immediately getting rejected. What how do you feel online dating impacted your mental health
It
when
was
you were
horrible.
on it?
It was horrible for her. Lasting effects. Some people go to war. I went online dating. I
That's where
don't.
you get your
Yeah, I
PTSD.
don't see a difference in the two. Um, yeah, no, there's a certain kind of hell, self-punishment, masochistic in a way, about um going online and strangers, sending out a message, pouring your heart and thoughts into it. Sometimes maybe not, just being like, hey, how's it going? But reaching out and putting yourself out there and constantly getting rejected or going on a date and them never responding to you again. It was horrible for my mental health, I think. I struggle with that kind of stuff anyway, with anxiety and confidence issues and those kinds of things. So it did nothing to help that. If anything, it only made it worse. I drank more during that time. I ate more Papa John's pizza during that time. I I it was not good. It did nothing good for me. And then, there's this roller coaster of emotions because there's the time when you do get a bite back and the conversation's going well. You meet up and the date goes well. And then you feel, wow, like this is great. Like, I was wrong. All the things I thought about myself were wrong. I clearly can do this. I clearly mean something to someone enough. Um, and then to be told later, I'm actually not attracted to you at all, and I don't want to see you again, even though we've been talking for 3 or 4 months. It does nothing but harm.
Yeah.
But you keep going back because you're chasing that high of
Yeah.
maybe the next time. And I remember when I had met you, just to tell this story, I had enough. It had been 1 year. And I remember thinking, I am going to, because I just had this happen. I was with this girl. I thought things were going really well. And then she says, I'm not attracted to you at all. Don't want anything to do with you. I said, I am going to Alaska. I'm quitting this dating stuff. And I am not going to think about this for anymore. I'm not going to do it
Yeah.
anymore. And so when I started talking to you, I remember telling you, hey, look, if you want to keep talking, here's my phone number because I'm getting rid of these apps.
Yeah.
So I found you literally the last jumping off point.
And we matched on 2 apps.
That's right.
It was Hinge and Bumble, I think.
That's
But
right.
so the algorithm worked a little bit in
A little
that
bit.
case. Uh, but yeah, I had already been on a few dates with somebody else. I think when you and I matched, and I wasn't sure what to do with that, and I I'm very bad at dating more than one person at a time. So, but I did keep your number because we had such a good conversation.
Take that back.
uh, so I don't know. I'm trying to think about my own mental health. It's a little bit different, I think, for women on dating apps. You definitely get more interest, I would say, just in
Mm.
general. And there are like studies on it, so it's not like a personal opinion. There are
No, it's
studies
true.
that
I
women have
didn't.
an easier
I
time on the
sent out,
apps.
I would send out messages a lot or little waves or hi, how's it going? My name is such and such. Um, I only got back probably a handful of reply. If I sent out, let's say I sent out 40 messages. I don't know how many it was, but let's just say I sent out 40, right? I just say, hello, how's it going? My name is Justin. Who are you? How are you? Say I do that. I probably got 2 back. Like if I sent out 40, I would
Yeah.
probably get 2 back.
Well, see, and I would say that like I got a lot of matches of people who were interested,
Hmm.
but at any given time, I probably had 2 to 3 conversations going that were actually interesting,
Hmm.
and the rest either died like 2 minutes in, or they answered like the first question and then never responded back, or they
Hmm.
like asked me a question and I answered and then they never responded back. Like,
Guess they just had that question on their mind. You gave them an
yeah,
answer, and that's all they needed.
yeah, they were like, "Tell me your top 3 Marvel movies," and then they
Okay.
didn't care about anything else ever. I guess they were just doing a study on nerdy culture.
Yeah.
No, it was interesting, but it's an interesting blend of things for mental health, right? Because it's like if you do get matches, you get like that little like dopamine hit validation buzz of like, ooh, people are interested in me.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, that's
then
real.
when conversations die, or uh, what happens with girls a lot, at least, or women in general, is like men come on really strong or really sexual right
Hmm.
away. And that's, for me and a lot of people, a giant turnoff.
Okay.
Uh, so that like gives you the ick immediately and creeps you out, and you're like, I don't really want to talk to that person anymore. Uh, or like I said, they ask you one question and never come back. So it's like a immediate downfall. It's a weird mix for mental health. It's like it's a boomerang of like happy, sad, happy, sad, happy,
Hmm.
sad. And it's a lot. I feel like it's a lot to do to yourself emotionally. Um and it's only getting worse. So part 2 of this episode, let me tell you some things that are happening now in online dating. Now that we've been off it for a while, we don't know what like the new things are. So here's a few. One, uh, completely AI generated profiles. Now, there was a little bit of this when you and I were still on it, but AI has taken quite a massive turn in
People are
the
using
past year.
AI to make their profile pages.
So no, it's not people using AI. It is AI profiles. They are
AI is getting
AI.
on there.
Yes.
Wow.
They, with the intent of making money, so they will eventually ask you for money, but they can hold like 50 plus conversations at a time.
Hmm.
So very easy. Uh, there'll be AI generated photos and they're AI chatting with you. Um, they're a little bit hard to spot, but people are getting better at it. The problem is like if you are like you and I, we like to communicate in like full sentences via text
Hmm.
and have like legitimate conversations. Um, so they can be a little bit hard to spot, especially if you're not used to it. Um, but uh, when I specifically asked AI to tell me about this, and it said the things to look for were like the too perfect problem. So like faces that are too symmetrical,
Okay.
which I thought was kind of
That's
funny.
funny.
Uh, every photo looks like a professional photo shoot. So there's no like candid moments, no group shots or like life happening around them. There's
Interesting.
no friends ever because AI has a hard time generating multiple people and multiple faces and things within a single image. So
They don't
you're
have
like,
friend groups.
yeah. And then it said to like look at the edges, hands, and background coherence to see like if there's any like blurriness or like weirdness. You know how like AI sometimes adds like a sixth finger.
Mhm.
Um, but crazy thing to have to deal with.
Yeah, now I've
Now,
gotta
like you
go
could be
through.
having a perfectly nice conversation with someone and then like 30 minutes in realize that you're just talking to a
Dude, do you know
chatbot.
how rough that would be? Like, I just went off somewhere while you were talking. I put myself into that position of like, if I started matching with a girl who started talking to me and it was going really, really well, and then, you're feeling like it's going really well. And it
Yeah.
is because it's AI, right? And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden you get the message like, I need $100 for this thing. That would be, and it was revealed that I'd been talking to AI long. That would be devastating.
Yeah.
That would be devastating on a whole new emotional level that I don't think I ever want to experience. It reminds me of the
And there
movie
was,
Her.
sure. There was a test though. Okay, somebody did like a study on this to see like how many AI generated messages they would receive in 12 hours, like from different AI generated profiles, and they got more than 60.
60? Six
There's a
zero?
ton of these things out there
Oh my
now.
God. I thought we were only dealing with a handful. I didn't know we were dealing with a bunch of them.
Yeah, apparently huge problem. Uh Second huge problem, deep fake videos. So you know
Deepfake videos.
how the normal way in which you could prove that somebody is who they say they are is to video chat them.
Hmm.
That seems easy.
Yeah.
You set up a call with them like tomorrow or something, and you get all ready, make sure you look good, get on the call. Uh, well, now because you can deep fake and make it look like you're the person who's speaking, when you're just talking to AI. And now people are having full on video chats
With an AI
with
bot.
AI.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
That's crazy.
Can you imagine?
No. No, I can't. No, that's crazy.
I I didn't realize that this was as big of a problem as it was. I gotta say, like I was doing the research for this. I was just like, I know about AI profiles, sure, like that seems easy. And then like people using AI to write their profiles so they sound better than they are. But like you get all the way to the point where you're video calling with an AI, and you're video calling with AI, like creepy. Now these are maybe a little bit easier to spot, and I liked the Claude gave me some tips about how to spot
Okay.
a deep fake video. So it was the hand in front of face test. Move your hand quickly across your face,
Hmm.
and deep fake glitches when that happens a
So
little
wait,
bit
if
because it.
you do like this, the AI.
I think it's saying that you need to ask the AI to do that to
Oh, okay.
do that. So that because it will have a hard time
How do you
generating the
do
video and
how do
putting a
you do
hand in
that
front of your
without coming
face.
off as strange? Like, say you're talking to, you'd be like, "Hey, by the way, real quick, scratch
Yeah.
your nose."
Well, the other one was like ask them to turn fully sideways because it doesn't do profiles
Hmm.
well.
I
Um,
guess you could say like, "Hey, what's that behind you over there? What? I don't know."
yeah, yeah. What is that back there? Could
And
you
you'd be like, "Ah, you're real.
can you go get that?
You
Bring that
passed the
closer.
test."
Yeah. Uh,
Okay. All right.
to request video calls spontaneously. So to be like, let's do it right now, so they don't have time to set up the fake test.
Gotcha.
Uh, and then to watch the physics, it said. So lighting, shadow mismatches, unnatural hairlines, and skin doesn't match the age of the eyes and the hair, which I don't know about you, but I would have a hard time thinking about that one.
That would be weird. Hey, man. Yeah, that'd be weird if you were on the date. You'd be like, "Hey, girl, just don't know if you know, but your skin doesn't match your eyes."
Yeah, your
That's
eyes look
weird.
older than your skin.
That's weird.
Yeah,
That's weird. That would not
strange.
cross my mind, I don't think.
No. And then the very last thing that it said was like a big problem now because, and I've actually read an Atlantic article about this a couple weeks ago, but people getting banned for no reason
Banned for no
or
reason.
for reasons unknown. Uh, so there's a couple things that are happening out there. Uh, One of them is like malicious weaponized reporting. So like if you go on a date with someone and you decide you hate them, you report them.
Oh, just
So they're
because you
kicked
didn't
off
like
the
them.
apps because you didn't like them.
Okay.
Or like you find your ex on there and you
Oh, and
report
you're like, I'm
them,
gonna
so
screw
it
with
kicks them
them.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, Also, it there was a story about like someone who was trans posting in their bio like a jokey line about trans issues, and the algorithm flagged it as a sex work
Oh
solicitation,
my
so it
God.
kicked them off.
Oh
Um,
no.
and like there's other reasons that this will happen, just like weird things that you could put in your profile, or like if your photos look too good, the app might think that you're AI.
Hmm.
And
That's a problem I
I was
probably
just
wouldn't have. Could you imagine having that problem? Like you take a picture of yourself and you're like, so
yeah,
good looking, they thought I was AI.
yeah.
That would
But like,
that would suck, but it would also feel pretty good too, because you'd be like, haha.
I mean, maybe, but like as we were talking about earlier, we put all this thought into creating our profiles, right?
Yeah.
We put them on the app. We might even match with a few people, and then you get kicked off.
Hmm.
You could be mid conversation with someone that you thought would go somewhere.
Yeah.
You get kicked
And then
off.
you're gone.
Never to know their name or hear from them again, probably, because
Mm,
who knows if they were even real to begin with.
yeah.
And then there's almost no way to get your account back.
So
Like
you're just done.
people have tried to come back and like ask Hinge or something, like why was I banned? And sometimes they don't even get a reason. Which is like,
Just
your
sucks to be
profile
you, I
seemed
guess.
suspect or was reported
Yeah.
or something like that.
All right.
And then they never get back online. Um, and I mean, talk about your mental health hits.
Yeah.
You put like all this effort and thought into creating an online profile, and maybe you're like us. Maybe you have no time
To meet.
or no idea where or how to meet people in person. So you thought, online's the way. I'm finally going to do it. And then you get booted.
I mean, you get booted. And it's over.
Sucks. So all in all, I'm very happy to not be on the apps anymore. So thank you.
Yeah, me too. I've said it before. I don't mind saying it here. If something ever goes wrong in this relationship, I think that's it for me. I don't think I can put myself or subject myself to the dating apps again, especially given what you've just told me. I do not want to wade back into those waters. I think I will just be single the rest of my life should this come to pass. I don't think I'll be getting on the dating apps. I do have a friend, I'll end with this. I do have a friend who is on the dating apps right now, and she does kind of fill me in on some of her stories, and they're pretty good. But she did send me one the other day that was pretty crazy. And I think this comes from Hinge because it looks familiar. But the prompt was, the one thing you should know about me is, and
Mm.
my friend here, she put, my dog is my baby. Hope you're ready to be a father. And then the guy wrote back, it's a dog, not a baby. You're not a mom. So insults her. That's the way you get. That's the way you get girls, is
Yeah.
you insult them on their prompts. And then she writes him back, you're just mad because my dog has great hair and you're clearly balding. So, but she sends me these little things, and I tell you, between what you've just told me and the stories that she fills me in on her like trials out there, I'm telling you, man, like I think I never ever want to do it ever again.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm probably just move to the mountains and adopt 6 more huskies and call it a day.
Yeah, I'll go to one of those islands where they have nothing but cats, and I'll just live out there in a tent with all the cats. I
Uh,
think that's what I'll do.
well,
I think that's what I'll do.
feel free to drop us a comment with your best or worst online dating story. If you've ever
Please.
helped someone move or had to watch a show alone while your date went upstairs to fold laundry,
Mm-hmm.
by all means, please let us know.
I want to hear bad dating stories.
Yeah, those are always the best.
Those are my favorite.
As always, you can find Mildly Alarmed on YouTube, YouTube Music, and Spotify at 6 a.m.
But
on
can I
Tuesdays.
say, real quick,
Yes.
if there's anyone out there who is like, I can't find anyone, online dating sucks, we did it.
That is true. Of all the things we said today, I
It
will
can
say
happen.
that you are probably the person I've dated that I am the most compatible with.
Yeah,
So I actually do think it worked. I think
same.
the
It did
algorithm
work.
worked.
We are a success story. It can happen to you,
We are.
folks.
It can. So on that happy note, we'll end it. Until next time.
Take it easy.